You don't have a short attention span. You have an attention span that has been systematically dismantled by people who profit from your inability to focus. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what happened to your attention, why it happened, who built the system that broke it, and the three-step protocol to rebuild it, starting today, not next week. In 2004, researchers at the Technical University of Berlin measured the average sustained attention span of an adult working on a screen. The number was 2.5 minutes, long enough to read a short article, long enough to get meaningfully into a task. By 2020, that number had dropped to 47 seconds, not minutes, seconds. 47 seconds before the average person's mind pulls away from whatever it was doing and reaches, usually unconsciously, for stimulation. That collapse did not happen by accident. It was engineered. Pause. How many times have you picked up your phone since this video started? Think about that honestly before we continue. There is an industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars whose entire business model depends on one thing: keeping your attention fragmented, not for a little while, permanently, because a fragmented mind is a consuming mind. A focused mind is a dangerous one. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris described it this way. He said there are 1,000 engineers on the other side of your screen whose job every single day is to outsmart your willpower. They have more data on your psychology than you have ever gathered on yourself, and they have been running this experiment on you since you were a teenager. Your short attention span is not a character flaw, it is a product feature for them, a bug for you. Here's the truth underneath all of this. Your attention is the only thing truly yours, not your time. Time is taken by obligation, not your energy. Energy is spent by circumstance. But attention, the deliberate direction of your conscious mind, is the one resource that is yours by sovereign right. And right now, most of us have surrendered it, voluntarily, repeatedly, for the price of a free app. That ends today. I call it the A.D.D reset, not what you think. Audit. Diagnose exactly how your attention is currently being stolen and by what. DETOX. Restore your brain's baseline dopamine sensitivity so focus becomes biologically possible again. Design. Build the environmental and behavioral architecture that makes deep attention your default, not your exception. 3 moves, 15 minutes to understand them, a lifetime to benefit from them. Let's go. Pillar 1. Audit. Diagnose the hijack. Before you can fix your attention, you have to understand what's stealing it. And to do that, you have to be honest about something most people refuse to look at directly. Open your phone's screen time report right now if you have one. Look at the daily average. Look at the number of pickups per day. How many times you physically lifted your phone and unlocked it? The average smartphone user picks up their device 96 times per day. That is once every 10 minutes of waking life. That is not a habit. That is a compulsion. And like every compulsion, it has a neurological mechanism. The mechanism, variable reward. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner ran an experiment that changed our understanding of behavior forever. He put rats in a box with a lever. When they pressed the lever, they received a food pellet. Every time. Predictable. The rats pressed the lever regularly. Then he changed the rule. Sometimes pressing the lever delivered a pellet. Sometimes it didn't. Random. Unpredictable. The rats went insane. They pressed the lever compulsively, far more than before, far more than they needed to. They couldn't stop. Skinner had discovered variable reward, the most powerful behavioral conditioning mechanism ever identified. And it is the exact mechanism built into every social media feed, every email inbox, every notification badge on your phone. You scroll because sometimes there's something good. The unpredictability is not a design flaw. It is the addiction architecture. The slot machine was always intentional. The audit tool, 3 questions. 1. What is the first thing you reach for when you feel bored, uncertain, or uncomfortable? Name it specifically. That is your primary attention drain. 2. How many minutes pass between waking up and checking your phone? If the answer is under 30 minutes, your day begins in someone else's attention economy, not your own. 3. When you sit down to do focused work, what is within arm's reach? Whatever is within arm's reach has pull. Distance is not inconvenience. Distance is protection. Write the answers down. Don't edit them. The audit is only useful if it's honest. That was at 47 seconds. If your mind started to drift somewhere in the last minute, you didn't fail. You just met your current baseline. And baselines can be rebuilt. 99% of people never audit this. They just feel vaguely distracted and blame themselves for weak willpower. The 1% diagnose the system before they try to fix the symptom. Pillar 2. D. Detox. Restore dopamine sensitivity. Here is something neuroscience has confirmed that the tech industry would prefer you didn't know. Every time you receive a notification, a like, a comment, a message, your brain releases a small pulse of dopamine. Dopamine is your brain's anticipation and reward chemical. It is what makes things feel interesting, worth pursuing, worth continuing. The problem is not dopamine. The problem is volume. When dopamine is triggered hundreds of times per day by tiny, low-effort, low-value stimulations, your brain recalibrates. It raises the threshold. It takes more stimulation to feel the same response. Neuroscientists call this downregulation of dopamine receptors. The result, the things that used to feel interesting, a book, a conversation, a long walk, sustained work, no longer fire the same signal. Not because those things got worse, because your brain's sensitivity to them has been blunted. You're not bored because life got boring. You're bored because your dopamine system has been industrially overstimulated to the point where normal human experience no longer registers. In 2019, Cal Newport, author of Deep Work and professor of computer science at Georgetown University, published research on what he called digital minimalism. He studied a cohort of individuals who dramatically reduced their social media and screen stimulation for a period of 30 days, not eliminated entirely, reduced deliberately. The findings, within 72 hours, participants began reporting increased ability to sustain attention on single tasks. Within 2 weeks, they reported higher satisfaction from activities that had previously felt flat: reading, exercise, face-to-face conversation. Within 30 days, their self-reported levels of focus, meaning, and life satisfaction had measurably improved. 72 hours. That is how fast the brain begins to recalibrate when you reduce the stimulus load. Not months. 3 days. Your attention is the only thing truly yours, and it responds to recovery faster than you think. The detox tools. 3 moves this week. 1. The phone-free first hour. From the moment you wake until 60 minutes have passed, no phone, no social media, no news, no email. Let your first hour belong entirely to you. This is not productivity advice. This is neurological hygiene. You are giving your dopamine system 1 hour per day to exist without bombardment. 2. The stimulus fast. 30 minutes per day of deliberate boredom. Walk without headphones. Sit without a screen. Eat without a video. Do nothing on purpose. This feels torturous at first, which is the point. Discomfort in boredom is your brain screaming for the stimulation it's become addicted to. Sit through it. It passes, and what comes after is something most people haven't felt in years: genuine stillness. 3. The notification audit. Turn off every notification that does not require your immediate physical response. Everyone, email, social media, news, apps, all silent. You check them on your schedule. They do not interrupt yours. This single change will return approximately 45 minutes of fragmented attention to you every single day. 99% of people live inside the default notification settings that were chosen by a product team in San Francisco. The 1% design their own interruption policy. Pillar 3. D. Design. Build the architecture of focus. Willpower is a renewable resource, but it has a daily limit, and every act of resistance drains it. Every time you have to choose not to check your phone, not to switch tabs, not to break focus, you spend a unit of willpower you won't get back until tomorrow. This is why willpower-based focus strategies always fail eventually. They treat attention like a character trait when it is actually an environmental outcome. Stanford psychologist B.J. Fogg has a principle he calls the environment as behavior designer. The premise: the easiest behavior is always the one your environment makes most available. If your phone is on your desk, you will check it. If your couch is facing the TV, you will watch it. If your fridge is full of easy food, you will eat it. The inverse is also true. Make the desired behavior easy and the undesired behavior hard, and the behavior changes without willpower, without struggle, without heroic self-discipline. I want to tell you what changed everything for me. I wasn't able to read for more than 10 minutes without reaching for my phone. I used to read a book a week, then one a month. Then I'd start books and abandon them in the first chapter. I told myself I was just busier. I wasn't busier. My attention had been hollowed out. The change that worked was not an app blocker. It was not a productivity system. It was embarrassingly simple. I put my phone in a different room, not in my pocket on silent, not face down on my desk, a different room with the door closed. The first day, I sat at my desk and felt the phantom pull of it, the urge to reach where it usually was. The second day, the pull was still there but weaker. By the fourth day, I worked for 90 minutes without a single moment of that pull. Nothing about my discipline had changed. The environment had changed, and the environment did the work that willpower couldn't. The design tools build this today. 1. The single device, single task rule when you work. One screen, one task, one window. Not 5 tabs. 1. Browser extensions like OneTab exist specifically for this. Use them. 2. The 90-minute focus block. Schedule at minimum one 90-minute block per day, where you do only the most cognitively demanding work on your list. Phone in another room. Door closed or headphones on. No interruptions. This is not a productivity hack. This is the minimum unit of time required for genuine deep work, according to a decade of research from Cal Newport and Anders Ericsson. 3. The transition ritual. Between tasks, before you switch from one activity to another, take 60 seconds. Close what you were doing. Breathe once, slowly. Write one sentence about what you're about to do and why it matters. This is not woo. This is your prefrontal cortex reclaiming the steering wheel from your reactive limbic brain. One sentence, 60 seconds, and your next task gets a focused mind instead of a scattered one. 4. The evening device boundary. 2 hours before sleep, no screens with a backlit display. The blue light suppresses melatonin, yes. But more importantly, the stimulation keeps your nervous system in a low-grade state of vigilance that makes deep sleep harder to reach. Deep sleep is when your prefrontal cortex, the seat of your attention, your impulse control, your executive function, literally repairs itself. Bad sleep is the hidden driver of bad focus that almost nobody addresses. The rule, willpower maintains attention. Design creates it. Build the environment first. The discipline follows automatically. I want to say something honest. Everything in this video is available to you right now. The audit, the detox, the design, none of it is complicated. None of it requires money or equipment or a perfect schedule. And yet most people watching this will not implement it. Not because they're lazy, because the pull in the other direction is extraordinarily powerful. Because the slot machine is open on another tab right now. Because the path of least resistance runs directly through the screen they're holding. Every scroll is a vote, not a metaphor. A literal neurological vote for which version of yourself gets stronger, the scattered, stimulus-dependent, 47-second version, or the one who can sit with a hard thing long enough to actually finish it. Both versions exist inside you right now. Only one of them gets exercise today. This week, start here, tonight. Turn off every notification except phone calls. Every single other one, off, non-negotiable. Tomorrow morning, leave your phone in another room for the first 60 minutes. No exceptions. Do not negotiate with yourself on this one. Tomorrow, pick one 90-minute window. Phone in another room. One task. Timer on. Work. This week, one 30-minute stimulus fast per day. Walk. Sit. Exist without input. When the discomfort comes, and it will, stay with it for 5 more minutes. That 5 minutes is where the rewiring happens. By Friday, do the audit, screen time report, average daily pickups. First thing you reach for when you feel uncomfortable, write the answers. Don't judge them. Just see them clearly. I made this video because I needed it 3 years ago and it didn't exist. I was a person who used to be able to think, used to be able to sit with a problem long enough to solve it, used to finish books, follow long arguments, hold a complex idea in my head while I worked through it. And then gradually, so gradually, I didn't notice it happening. I stopped being able to do those things at the same level. I thought it was age. I thought it was stress. I made peace with it. It wasn't age, it was erosion. And erosion can be reversed. The system in this video is what I use to rebuild. Not overnight, not perfectly, but incrementally, measurably, genuinely. I'm not here to perform a transformation story. I'm here to tell you the map exists, because for a long time, I didn't know it did. And if you're sitting somewhere right now, feeling like the sharp version of yourself has gone somewhere you can't reach, it hasn't gone. It's waiting on the other side of a design decision you haven't made yet. Make it today. The ancient Stoics had a concept they called the ruling faculty, the hegemonikon, the governing part of the self, the part that decides what to attend to, what to value, what to pursue. Marcus Aurelius wrote about it constantly. This idea that the quality of your life is ultimately determined not by what happens to you, but by what you choose to notice, what you direct your conscious mind toward. He was describing, 2,000 years before neuroscience confirmed it, the same truth that this entire video is built on. Your attention is the only thing truly yours. Not your career, not your circumstances, not your past. What you look at, what you think about, what you allow into your mind, and what you refuse. That is you, the truest, most sovereign version of you. And right now, right at this moment, you are choosing what that version of you practices next. Make that choice deliberately. Make it like it matters, because it is the only choice that does. Tell me in the comments, how long can you genuinely work before your mind pulls toward your phone? Be honest, no judgment. I want to know where people are actually starting from, because that shapes everything I make next. And if this video shifted something, subscribe.